can have that. That one's for me. Welcome back to Late Night with Dr. Paul. We are here with Patraick Edward Doherty. He is the president of, let's say something wrong. Let's start again. Close enough. Welcome back to Late Night with Dr. Paul. I'm here with Patraick Edward Doherty. He is still the president of Pleiades Robotics, the maker of the infamous Speary autonomous flying drone. Patraick, thanks for coming by tonight.
Thank you.
Let's start with an easy question. What is a Speary and why should we be afraid?
Well, Speary is an autonomous flying robot. It's programmable. It's very personable. It now recognizes sketches, images that you draw it for it, tell it what to do. And we're very excited about it being a device that people will be able to program and interact with in new ways.
Can you describe what it looks like?
Beautiful. It's got sensuous white protective shrouds about the ribbons, about the propellers. It's got a sort of aqueous
It's quite a word. So not unlike this creature here.
much like this creature here.
Wonderful. Very unique and sensual. How many of these will you be producing for North Korea, and what weapon systems do you expect they'll be equipped with?
It's very hard to compete in the North Korean weapon supply market, Paul. I mean,
don't dodge the question. Just round it to the nearest 1,000.
Well, I'll put it this way: those exploding glorious leader action figures aren't going to deliver themselves.
With kung fu grip. Excellent. But seriously, what makes Speary more interesting, more desirable than other drones that are out there? And there's many and more coming to the market on a regular basis.
Yeah. I mean, where we really excel with this robot is in making it a platform that's ready for developers to put their own projects on. I think that what we've seen in the last couple of years since we started working on the robot is going from complete obscurity in a field that a lot of people had suspicion of, if anything, to the imagination of developers and academics and the public in general being opened up to how they can live with robots in a harmonious and yet to be told way. So where we've put ourselves in this unknowable future is to create a device that other people can use to launch their programs and their applications and build their aspirations on top of.
And speaking of programs, my researchers tell me that this actually operates off two processors that work like this. Is that true, and why is there a benefit in doing that?
The counter-rotating ideas run throughout the robot, but yes, we have what you might equate in an animal to a central nervous system, which governs the flight dynamics and leaves the rest of the brain available for deliberation and mission sort of planning. The idea is that you never want the robot to fall out of the sky while it's working on some difficult problem. So you sequester the two operations, one above the other, and they talk to each other. A developer can program at that higher level without having to have an intimate understanding of the tip vortices of the rotors or very specialized flight dynamics. It takes care of itself down the chain.
Well, on the programming side, it sounds like it could be very complex. Who are some of the groups that you might be working with to move forward in the programming and bring different and exciting options? And
it's not that complex. My 4-year-old niece can make it fly by pointing a stick in the direction she wants it to go. The idea is we want different layers of access to the functions governing the robot available to different kinds of programmer and different kinds of user. That way, some people can work out the detailed flight dynamics of the system. Other people can build off of that and create an application that runs a vineyard, runs a construction site, or plays with their dog. There's just a lot of room for different people coming in at different specialties on the robot.
I understand you're doing a lot of the work and planning on doing a lot of the assembly here in Nova Scotia.
That's right.
Why here as opposed to Montreal or Taiwan or Tasmania?
Because I'm here.
That's convenient. Anything else?
Well, it's a question we are frequently asked, why here? But this is the only place in the world I go where I am asked the question, why Nova Scotia? Nobody in Los Angeles cares that we're in Nova Scotia. They just want to know how the robot works and what they can do with it. I think that there are a lot of things this place has going for it. Talented crew of people graduating from the universities every year. There's it's a beautiful area, although it's hard to bring myself to say that this time of year, Paul, but it is a good place to live, and there are just a lot of smart people and from a lot of different disciplines who are available to and excited to work on a project like this.
Good answer. What are some of the more interesting or even surprising applications that you found for Speary?
We're talking outside of the exploding action figure delivery kind of business.
Outside of that, and outside of obviously the ARM swarms.
I was surprised to find out how interested people in the construction industry were in Speary. Mm-hmm. It's not an industry I was ever familiar with, and I hadn't, in developing Speary, thought in terms of their problems and needs. I think that it wasn't surprising to find a lot of educators interested in Speary because of the way we've structured the programming setup. I wasn't too surprised that people in agriculture were interested in Speary because that has been discussed a lot.
Now, forgive my ignorance, how can this help with agriculture?
Oh, farms are huge landscapes. It's ordinarily a very labor-intensive process to get in, and if you want to save water, intervene early when your crops have a disease or some sort of issue, you need that sort of information. You need awareness of what's happening, and having botanists, wander your fields all day long isn't a very effective use of their expertise. Using a machine like Speary to do it nonstop and just tell you when there's a problem works out a lot better.
And this is autonomous. This is just going off and doing its programmed chore. It doesn't need to have somebody physically directing
That's right.
it. And
I mean, it's autonomous the way a trained dog is autonomous. It'll do what you've asked it to within reason, rather than autonomous in the way a evil dragon is.
okay.
But it's
autonomous, not sentient.
Well, not yet.
No. Well, there's always next year. And how many thousands of dollars of these wonderful things could it be?
1.4.
$1.4 thousand. Seems pretty reasonable to me. Question from Terry in the Annapolis Valley. What accessories will be available for the drone?
I bet Terry wants to know.
He does.
Some of the early accessories are going to be extra senses. Speary's already got a sense of sight. Actually, it's got stereo vision like you and I do. 2 cameras pointing forward. You can see depth out of it. It can actually see into the infrared. It can see into the ultraviolet. It's got a sense of touch, a sense of feel from its accelerometers, from its sense of balance, like we have in our inner ear. We'll be adding to that a sense of smell, an ability to detect pollutants in the atmosphere. We'll be adding to that a sense of space and being able to see 360 around it. Those will all be accessorized by plugging into the expansion port on the top.
So that's a USB port right there.
That's right. Other people are developing other accessories. People are making lasers for Spiri, benign lasers, but lasers nonetheless.
Gotcha.
And beacons, you'll be able to call it on your cell phone with a with an LTE sort of dongle.
Speakers?
The software as well as the hardware are open, and we expect there to be a lot of innovation there. People making their own companies based on building around robotics.
Very good. Finally, a question from Pete in Dartmouth. How can these be used to decrease the surplus population? Great question, Pete.
Well, it certainly keeps me locked up in a quiet room without the company of people I might breed with all night long. So that's several children brought out of the potential human population.
I assume that was your staff. Very good. Well, thank you for joining us today and for supporting this wonderful show. We look forward to following the trials and tribulations and achievements of Spiri as things progress.
Thanks for coming down to the aviary.
Cheers.
My pleasure. Please visit Pleiades.ca to learn more and pre-order your own Spiri. And maybe you could spell Pleiades for the fine folks at home.
HelloSpiri.com.
Exactly. That's all.